Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Soulful Josh and I'm over here at BMW South Miami to check out this 2025 BMW X3 30 xDrive for y'all. With that being said, if you guys are interested in purchasing any BMW whatsoever, make sure to go ahead and contact them. They'll be able to assist you. So underneath the hood lies the company's 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder known as the B48, producing 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. This one right here has the 48-volt mild hybrid system linked to a 8-speed automatic transmission to all 4 wheels. Because guess what? For this generation of the X3, all-wheel drive comes standard now. Let's go ahead and talk about the overall styling for this model. Now, this vehicle, ever since it first got shown, has been very controversial in the overall design language for it. And the reason why is because a lot of people feel that the car has lost a little bit of its characters. Some people say it looks like a capybara, which when you do the dune gray version with this exact styling, yes, it actually does look like a capybara. But let's talk about the front end design. So up at the front, as you see with the new grille design, we have a horizontal and vertical grille pattern compared to that of what we saw on the last generation, where it was just a vertical kidney grille. BMW went ahead and started doing this for their newer products. The X3 was the first one, and the 2 Series Grand Coupe, as well as the 1 Series hatchback that's sold in Europe, actually gets this exact same front end grille design. So you're gonna have the vertical slats that goes across and the horizontal ones as well, or angular ones I should say. You know, in person it doesn't look as bad, but since this is the base version without the M Sport package, it has the silver line design to it. You also have the iconic grille design for this model that I have showing for you guys right now, and it doesn't look too bad. And below that we do have active curtains, so this will open up and close for cooling for the engine, but also for added efficiency to make sure to go ahead and help with that range that you have for this model. Above it right here, you're gonna have your full safety sense system. Now, you can option in different types of safety sense. This one has the forward mitigation and collision warning as well embedded into the system, as well as some that's actually into the camera system that's above there on the windshield. But that's what the front premise is for this grille design. And in the lower section does have active shutters as well. You do have that middle section that kind of goes straight up to this section where they have the BMW logo. Has a little bit of gloss black as well as that silver lining underneath it. Now, when we get over here to the side of the front lamps, this one has just one projector beam with 2 DRLs that goes across. Whenever you turn the turn signal on, they do pulse in that BMW style, or it's almost like a heartbeat design, kind of like what Mazda does. So you will have that. This does also have the high beam assist, so you're gonna have the projector lamp is going to be in main beam, but then you have the high beam assist incorporated into that system right there. And then over here at the side, you do have a little bit of a trim that has the gloss black housing with a little bit of more of that silver lining as well. This example right here is finished in Arctic Race Blue, which is a very nice color. If you guys remember the video I did of the M50, it has this exact same color, which is pretty nice. Got your US DOT reflector light. And then dropping it down over here like it's hot, we do have the 18-inch wheels. So you're gonna have a lot of sidewall, but you're also gonna have smaller wheels. So these are the silver design wheels. I'm trying to show you as much of what a base version of an X3 is, because I know a lot of people have been looking for more base vehicles within reviews, and that's what I'm gonna be showing you guys right here. So we do have those nice 18-inch wheels, which is pretty cool. Now, getting over here to the side profile of the vehicle, as you see, it does have that elongated front end design, and that's because this is a rear-wheel drive biased vehicle. So although it's all-wheel drive, the majority of the power is going to be sent to the rear rather than the front. The only time the front is going to be kicking on is whenever it needs help to propel forward. So in snowy conditions, that will be able to help you. On the lower rocker panel right over here, as you see, we do have that same exact design that we saw on the front grille, where it has the vertical and horizontal slats incorporated into it. And we do have a puddle light right there underneath, which is pretty nice to see. Your mirror caps, since this is the base version, you're gonna have it actually painted in the exact same color as the main vehicle. We have LED lighting with a silver finish across, and then we have a silver finish for the lower section of the windowsill. So you're gonna be able to see that right there. Getting over here to the back, as you see, we have the taillights that mimic the last generation's refresh design or LCI design that they went ahead and did. Kind of has that like sword look from Halo. We still have that. It's full LED taillights. The turn signal is gonna be in red, unlike the one that we see in Europe that has it more in an orange finish. And then over here with the rear spoiler, as you see, the roofline really tapers a little bit more compared to that of the last generation, where it was a little bit more straight back, then it tapered off. This one's just straight tapering off towards the rear. Kind of gives it more of a better coefficient and drag compared to that of the last generation to help with overall fuel economy. Gloss black right here. You got your third brake light. We do have your rear wiper. Kind of wish this was actually tucked up underneath here, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, at least you're getting a rear wiper, unlike some other brands where they're starting to get rid of them, unfortunately. You have your xDriving right there, BMW badge, X3 30i. Now, I will say, I'm not a huge fan of this X3 30i placement. Just get rid of the 30i, just keep the X3. There's no need to put this because it kind of makes it almost seem like you're looking at a BMW 330i, not an X330i, if you were to go ahead and take that badge off, you know? I just personally don't like it. It just seems a little silly. So BMW, if you are listening and watching my videos, I would recommend just keeping it at X3, and that's all. On the lower section, we do have black plastic cladding as well with your reverse sensors. And then down below right here in the middle, you do have your reverse lamp. Now, the actual exhaust systems are actually going to be tucked up underneath here compared to that what you'd find in other vehicles in the competition, where some of them are actually incorporating exhaust systems back into their models, like the Q5. You got your rear camera right there with a washer nozzle. I'll actually show you how that looks. Going over here into the back, as you see, it is a power tailgate where you can go ahead and unlock it as well as lock it from the rear. We have a tonneau cover for this model that comes standard, so you don't have to option that in, which is pretty nice. And as you see, you have a ton of width to this model as well. So you're gonna be able to add some things in here to the back, which is pretty nice. We have a 12-volt outlet right over here off to the side, as well as a little grocery hook for just the one side, actually, right over here. And we even have some tie downs right here for maybe some more groceries or other stuff. A little bin section off to the side right here. And then underneath here, you will find a donut spare tire, which is quite, rare within some of the vehicles. This one doesn't have the run flats, so you will be getting a spare right here into the rear cargo area, and you will be able to fit that tonneau cover into this lower section as well. So BMW really thought of everything. LED lighting on either side to help out. But as you see, there is a little bit less height compared to that of the previous generation because of the way that the roofline now tapers off. So you will lose a little bit of height. And in order to release the back seats, you actually have to, yes, that's one thing I will complain as well. With newer models for BMWs, you don't get rear proximity door sensors. So you have to actually, let me see, you have to unlock the vehicle twice in order to, actually, let me just get the key fob at that point. Here is the key fob if you guys are wondering what it looks like. Same exact material that we see on some of the parts of the vehicle. And in opening up here, we'll talk about the lowering seat function. So you can go ahead and lower the seat. I don't have the seat all the way forward, but once you do have it forward, it will go ahead and actually lower down. So right there. And then, as you see, it is a 60-40 split. You can go ahead and just lower this middle section. So if you have larger items like a ski, you can easily just do that right there as well. But putting that back up, looking at the door card area. So we're gonna find some Not so pleasant materials. I will say at least it's not hard plastic, but it is in like an injection molding, but it's, you know, scratchy injection molding. It's not the most premium like the last generation of the X3. This one right here has that same texturized look to it and feel, which is quite unfortunate. You do get some copper stitching right over here, which is pretty nice. You have your grab handle right here to close the door, your window switch, and you have this, you know, ceramic or grayish look design for the section right here around the door handle. This is your door handle right here. In China, you actually get illumination right here for the rear section of the door handle, but in the US market as well as Germany, you will not find that. Large cubby space to put large bottled waters, which we will see in the front door section. And in the seats right here are, you know, pretty plush. They have some perforation down the middle, which is actually really good. It's a little bit more breathable. You have ISOFIX handles right there as well. And your headrest right here is also soft padding. Let's get into the rear section right here. Sitting behind myself at 5'10", you know, probably about 2.5 inches of overall legroom space. You do have some net on both sides to add, you know, items. And we have 2 air vents that can be go ahead and like rotate compared to other models in the competition where they don't have that availability. And then you also have a little cubby space to put your phone. So if you need to put your phone, well, maybe not my phone, but iPhone 14 Pro Max would actually not fit into this little cubby space, but at least you have 2 USB Type-Cs back here, an armrest right here as well to go ahead and lower down with 2 cup holders that are nicely equipped, and it's pretty decent size to fit a bottle of water. And then you do have that accessory right there for these BMW models that you can get, like an iPad holder for the rear occupant area. Let me go ahead and close the door really quick. Pretty solid sounding door, I will say. And then let's get into the front section. So opening up the door, as you see right here, has that exact same weird material for the top section as well as this bottom section. Not a really huge fan of this. I feel like BMW kind of needs to quickly update the interior materials for the X3 in the coming years, because I'm just really not a huge fan of it. You have your door switch gear, your window switch gear right here, as well as your mirror control. They do have power folding mirrors as well, which is pretty nice. You have your child lock for the rear and the window section, cubby space down below, and a nice area to put large water. So like I have right here, 32-ounce bottle of water can easily fit into there, and a little cubby space right there maybe to put some snacks. This section does have the illumination for the ambient lighting right here, which is pretty nice. You got your door handle, and then you have this weird incorporation of the door lock and unlock, as well as the vent control right here for this side vent. Not a really big fan of this. Would love to see maybe the door unlock being over here incorporated into this section, but not here. This is kind of, you know, a little flimsy, as you see right there. It's a little too loose for my liking. You do have your presets for your seats, so you do have a 1 and 2 preset, and these seats are fully powered with the same perforation down the middle. You have a thigh extender that is finished in a manual operation, and you have a nice plush section for the headrest. But getting into the interior, let me actually start it up for y'all. So starting up, since this model does come, sounds very solid. Actually, let's do that again since I have the bottled water there. Pretty solid sounding thunk right there. But the vehicle does come with the 48-volt mile hyper system. So unlike what you would find in the other vehicles in its competition space, it doesn't have a traditional starter. So it's actually just a seamless starting. It's not too jerky. It actually doesn't really make the engine or vehicle jerk too much when it comes to life. But as you see right here, we do have the new Squircle design steering wheel. So we're gonna have almost a flat top and almost a flat bottom design. This is a new design trend that a lot of car companies have been going for lately. I don't mind it too much. As you see, it's only a 2-spoke instead of maybe like the M Sport package where it has the 3-spoke down the middle, but it feels really good, especially when you're going around corners and having to hold down the middle. not too bad. You do have some controls right here for your cruise control, and then your multimedia section, as well as controlling the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster right here. So you can go ahead and actually change the overall layout of the gauges for this model, which is pretty nice to see. As you see, you have more of an L-shaped design for your tachometer, and then you can actually just put it back to its original look. Now, paddle shifters back here, they are finished in a regular plastic design compared to that what we find in the M Sport models. We have your full-on exterior lighting as well as your turn signal over here incorporated into there, so you will have that there, and then your wiper controls. Down here in the middle, we do have wireless charging pad on one side. We don't find it on the passenger side for any of the trim levels or any of the packages. 2 USB Type-Cs, and then you have your air vent controls right here with the way the directions come out. So if you want to have it in a full blast, you can go ahead and do that. As you see, you could slide it or you can just tap it in certain sections. So if you don't want to have it like that, we do have your max front defroster and max rear defroster right there, and then you have your emergency lighting as well. So once you do that, this whole section as well as around the door sections will have that red pulse whenever you turn it on. So as you see right there, it does glow and illuminate, which is actually a pretty nice feature just in case if you have your door open. But down the middle, we do find the 14.9-inch digital touchscreen display. So this is going to be incorporating everything. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you'll be able to control all that functionalities in there. We have some of that gold accents that we find on the door handles and the rear, or I should say where the ambient lighting should be at the rear, is actually incorporated here. And then we have some speaker as well as some ventilation that kicks up from over there, and even right behind the 14.9-inch touchscreen display. Opening right here, as you see, it is a pretty average size bin design for the glove compartment, and it is lined with felt, which is not too bad. 2 large cup holders right here. Sadly, it doesn't fit my 32-ounce bottle of water, so you will have to buy an accessory. X3 badging right there. We do have the ambient lighting glow that goes across here. Here's your switch gear, so you go ahead and put it into drive. To put it into reverse, as you see right there, we do have trajectory as well as your backup camera system. You can change it into a panoramic view, and like I said, that you can clean the rear camera. Just press that button right there and it will automatically clean the rear camera. So if you're living up north, that is a added benefit for you guys, as well as maybe somebody who lives in the south like I do. But putting into park, pressing that button, we do have your auto hold function, your dedicated camera system. We even have your My modes right over here. So actually, these are the kind of like drivetrain systems. So if you want to deactivate the start stop, you could just press that button right there. Iconic sound, if you don't want to have that on. I'm going to keep it on for the time being, and then we could turn it off. Active drive off assist, and then hill scent, as well as your lane departure warning incorporated into the system. Your My modes are going to be like your drive modes. So you have your personal, you got sport, efficiency, expressive, my bad, relax, and digital art, as well as silent. So what these do is put them in different perspectives. So personal will kind of be whatever you want to have it as. Sport mode will be, your fun, enjoyable type of drive mode. Efficient will be basically putting in an eco mode. Expressive kind of makes everything a little bit more, the ambient lighting glow in a different way. Relaxation, it will actually close the whole entire panoramic sunroof. Speaking of panoramic sunroof, this is a fixed glass, so no longer can you open up this panoramic sunroof, which honestly, I kind of wish they gave you the option of having a fixed glass or having the opening function for a panoramic sunroof. That's just me. I mean, if I want to have a functional sunroof and I'm paying for the car, at least give me the option to go ahead and do that. Volume control button, forward and backtrack. You do have your iDrive widget right here, which is pretty nice to see that we have that still incorporated in BMW, because the X1 and X2 don't even have that, as well as the 2 Series. We have your home button, media, telephone, and your navigation right there as well. Opening up the center console, as you see, it's pretty deep, not too bad actually. And then you do have a 12 volt right there, so that's where the 12 volt will be incorporated. But Honestly, it's not a bad cabin space. The thing that I primarily don't like is this on the door card area, as well as the paddle shifters. I'm not really a huge fan of the paddle shifters. Panoramic sunroof is another thing that I really do not like, the fact that we can't actually have an operated sunroof. You do have your mirror right here, so it has LED lighting above, microphone right there on either side, and full LED interior lighting as well. So pretty good. With that being said, let's go ahead and take it out for a drive. So before we set off, I want to show you, this is what the ambient lighting looks in the interior. It's very bright. You can go ahead and reduce it, or even add the functionality of having it reduce while night driving. But with that being said, let's put it into drive and let's set off. So like I mentioned, this is the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder producing 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. Now, the M50 variant comes with that straight 6 B58 inline 6-cylinder turbo. That one makes a lot more horsepower and a lot more torque, but let's go ahead and take this model out for a drive. So setting off, pretty comfortable. You do have that iconic sound that comes through, which is basically kind of amplifying what the engine would sound like if you didn't have so much insulation. This vehicle does have a lot of insulation embedded into it, but let's go ahead and actually throw it into sport mode, and let's see how this model handles around these corners. So we're actually gonna shift our own gears ourselves. Really good. You can hear a little bit of that turbo blow off valve that comes through into the cabin, which is actually very nice to hear for a model like this. Turning wise, very good, sharp, precise, exactly what you'd expect from a BMW product. So just know you're in good hands when it comes to that. And you can kind of feel that all-wheel drive system kicking a little bit as it lost a little bit of control of that rear system to go ahead and add some more power to the front wheels. But really good overall engine feel. And the suspension is actually greatly improved compared to the last generation, as well as the wheel choices. One of the things that many people complained about the last generation was that it didn't feel super good when it came to overall driving around town or anything like that. It was a little too bumpy. The suspension felt a little too sporty, even on the base version like this model right over here. But pretty good suspension setup for this model. Now, overall, the interior NVH sound, there's not a lot going on from the exterior sound. Now, mind you, I am not driving on the highway. You will likely hear a little bit of sound coming over here from this section, which is to be expected, but it is actually really good. Makes you feel, secured sound, almost like if you're in your own house and enjoying your day off. But so far, so good. We're actually gonna, let me throw it back into sport because I want to see how this car feels when I go around this corner right over here. So we're gonna let this Hyundai go, and we're gonna give it a little bit of gasolina. Really good. Very, very good response from that 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. This right now is probably one of the best automatic transmission in the game. I will say that it just feels great. It's not, a dual clutch system like other competitors currently have. Mercedes has, a regular traditional 8-speed automatic transmission. I know the Audis currently have a, 7-speed DCT, which makes sense in, a sporty car, not so much in an economy car like this one, but this one feels really good to be driving around. Just precise shifting, great, almost DCT levels of shifting points. I will have to give it off to BMW for the tuning, but also ZF in the fact that they're the ones that created this transmission themselves. Yeah, gets up to speed very well. in a proper manner. I mean, it is, you know, a CUV or SAV as what BMW likes to call it. And I think it just does a fantastic job at being that. It's going to get you from point A to point B, but also with a little bit of fun, not being a boring drive to have. Like, you know, a car that's boring to drive, like an economy car, like a Honda HR-V, which I had, that was very boring. This is a lot of fun. Even when you take it into these corners right over here, you chuck it in there, it's just perfect. It's perfect. Great job, BMW. Once again, huge shout out to BMW of South Miami. If y'all are interested in purchasing any BMW whatsoever, make sure to go ahead and contact them. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Make sure to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.